I be ballin'. What's up? We got a new episode with my main man Zach Attack. We're gonna talk about the NBA trade deadline, and we're gonna talk about All Star Weekend in Cleveland. First, let me introduce my guest, Zach. Tell him, tell us about yourself a little bit.
I'm Zach, born and raised in Milwaukee area, avid Bucks fan. Bucks in six, let's go.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, big fan of the NBA, always have been. So thanks for the opportunity to hop on the show and give a little of my insight.
Oh, yeah, no problem. This is where you speak your mind about basketball and, your opinions and everything. So, we're going to start with the NBA trade deadline. There was a lot of trades, but we're only going to talk about a couple. Um, I'm going to talk about a trade involving the Pacers and the Kings. You know, the Pacers traded away, Sabonis, Jeremy Lamb, second round pick. Pacers got Tyrese Halliburton. He's from Wisconsin. What up? They got Buddy Hield as well, Tristan Thompson. But I heard they're gonna waive Tristan Thompson and he's gonna sign with the Bulls. That's what I
Yep,
heard.
I heard the same on that.
Yeah. So tell us your opinion. Who won, who lost? Were they both winners? What's your opinion on that?
I think that the Kings won, or excuse me, the Pacers won this one. I think adding Tyrese Halliburton to the backcourt's a big addition for them. It was surprising to me that the Kings dealt him so easily, knowing that they had the matchup, or excuse me, the duo of him along with De'Aaron Fox in the backcourt. So it was interesting that they were willing to move him to bring in a big man.
Yeah.
Um, at the same time, there was another trade where they did get rid of Marvin Bagley as well, which I'm sure we'll get to. Um, and so, I mean, they kind of made that room for him. I was surprised, but I think overall the Pacers ended up winning that trade overall.
Yeah, I heard a lot of GMs around the league was shocked that, Halliburton was traded. They didn't even know he was available.
Hmm.
So, shout out to the Pacers for, calling. You never
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
But,
And Halliburton seemed like he was kind of upset too, being dealt, and it seemed like the
oh,
team
yeah.
didn't confront him about it or anything. So
Mhm.
he said he shed some tears, and he must
Oh,
have
wow.
felt like he had his place there. So it was
Wow. Shed some
tough
tears.
goodbye for him.
I know he was like really upset. He's only in his second year. I think they should have just kept, because I feel like they're in the West and they probably should have took their time. Because I feel like Sabonis, yeah, he's a great big man, all star, but he doesn't really move the needle to like get to where you need to go, to be a contender. So I think they should have continued with their youth movement, but that's just me. I think the Pacers won.
Yep, I agree. I think I did see one note. Sabonis is for the next two seasons getting 20 and 21 million. So he is a pretty valued player given his current contract. But once that deal's up, who knows what's going to happen there? But same thing we
Yeah.
could say for Halliburton.
What if Sabonis doesn't like being the king? And it seemed like Halliburton was, down with changing the culture and winning, but we'll see.
Definitely, it'll be interesting to see. But looking forward to it. Always been Kings have always been my team in the Western Conference. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like De'Aaron Fox. Um, Obviously they should have drafted Luca, but what can you do?
yeah, there are 14 teams that should have drafted Giannis. So
Oh yeah, everybody has their own misses and makes.
exactly.
All right, another trade that happened with the Pacers. They traded. Karis LeVert, and a second round pick to Cleveland for Ricky Rubio, a first round draft pick in 2022, and a second round draft pick in 2022, and a 2027 pick. But obviously, we're not really talking about the picks. We're going to talk about the players, who won that trade.
See, so this one's tough, especially due to all the picks being involved.
Oh, yeah.
With the Cavs giving up the 2 second-round picks and a first round. I mean, with the Bucks, we were able to see what they turned around with Sam Merrill and 2 second picks into Grayson Allen this past
Oh, yeah.
offseason.
That was
So
great trade.
when we take all that into consideration, I think that the Pacers are kind of playing for the long run.
Mm-hmm.
They got fresh legs with Halliburton only being in his second season. I mean, Karis LeVert's still pretty young, but he's on a pretty pricey contract, which is why Ricky Rubio was exchanged there. But overall, I think I like the Pacers in this trade as well, kind of clearing some cap space, bringing in options with the picks, which could be key components to some trades coming up here in the next year.
Pacers winning again. You are correct. They're sort of rebuilding, but they're retooling. I'm not really sure. Like, I think they are trying to win, but it obviously wasn't working, so they're trying different things. But obviously, getting all these picks, will help them because they know how to draft. With their first round draft pick, his name is Chris Durant. No, Durant. Something like that.
Oh, Chris, I think it's Chris Duarte.
Oh, you can pronounce it better than
Duarte.
me. They know how to draft. Um, but I understand why the Cavs did it as well. Having Colin Sexton down, then Ricky Rubio down. They're trying to, make a push to win as many games as they can this year. They got a good young squad, so they're trying to add to that. So I'm gonna call it, a tie because we don't really know what's gonna happen with these picks.
Yeah.
And Karis LeVert, he is a good young player, and I think he's gonna help them, give them more size on the wing too.
Yeah, no, I agree with you totally. I mean, Cavs are top 5 team in the East right now. I mean, we know there's a bunch of teams jammed up there, but they're making do with Darius Garland and Jared Allen, so Evan Mobley. So bringing in Karis LeVert's just another weapon that they're going to be able to use as they push towards the playoff. I think the Cavs are kind of modeled for let's put the pedal to the metal now. We got a good young squad. Let's see what we can do because eventually these contracts are going to run up and you're going to have to pay everybody. So
Exactly.
you have the team, not the talent now. If you can somehow get it all to come together, there's potential that you can make a playoff run.
Yeah, and they won the skills challenge, all three of them.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Talk about that later. Another trade we're going to discuss now is the Clippers getting Norman Powell. They got Robert Covington, but then they got rid of Eric Bledsoe, Justin Wilzo. No, Justice Winslow, Keon Johnson, a 2025 second round draft pick to Portland. Clippers are also sending the Blazers a 2025 second round draft pick. So, who do you think won that trade? I think it's kind of obvious, but I don't know. I think the Clippers are trying to compete now while Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are, rehabbing. What do you think?
Yeah, I think well, I think the Clippers won it for immediate. Norman Powell, good shooter. The Clippers, I mean Bledsoe, he hasn't. I don't know if he really hasn't flourished anywhere that he's landed, and the way he's been bouncing around teams, he must have the talent to stay in the league and be able to at least stay on a roster. But how many minutes is he going to get on any of these teams, especially around the playoff time? Same with Justice Winslow. I think what I really like is, well, I guess with the Blazers moving all of these assets, it's clearing cap space, so it's kind of a double-edged sword because obviously the
Right.
big name is Dame, and we don't know. Only time will tell with him where he ends up landing. So, I guess short term, I like the Clippers landing Powell and Covington.
Yeah, for now, in the immediate, the Clippers won. But we got to see what the Blazers do. And, I kind of want Dame to stay, but I have no idea what they're going to do. I have no idea. I know they're clearing cap space for their young guard, you know, Anthony Simons. He's really blossoming. He's really young. But I really don't know what they're going to do. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a blank canvas. I mean, you have a superstar in Dame there, but at the same time, it's how long is he going to be willing to stick around? Is he because he can chase a ring at any time, just like everyone else is. So maybe he'll
Hmm.
stay loyal like Giannis and stick around for his city, see what they can play out, and give them this chance to see what they can really do. But for right now, I think Blazers are kind of just throwing the rest of this season aside.
Yeah, man. And they fired their GM, you know, all this crazy stuff. A lot of things happening. Oh, and when I was watching, like, it might have been Saturday or Sunday, I was watching All Star Weekend, and I saw Dame talking to Giannis, and Dame was covering his mouth a little bit. So, I don't know. Dame to Milwaukee, I don't want to speculate, You know. Maybe they're talking, I don't know. We don't really have the assets, but, I don't know.
We'll keep our fingers and toes crossed, but
Yeah. Okay, so another trade. Blazers got Josh Hart. Thompson Surensi? I think that's the closest I can get to it. Walker Alexander. Man, is it Didi? No. Didi Lazada. I hope I got that
D Luzada, I don't know. Yep, I don't. I'm not even sure who that is, to be honest with you. So
right. 2002 lottery protected first round pick, 2 second round picks. The Pelicans get CJ McCollum, Larry Nance, Tony Snell. Who do you think won that?
um, I'd have I'd have to. Man, this one's tough too. Just with
Yeah, it's
what we
tough.
got going on with the Blaze, where I'd like to say the Pelicans won the trade for immediate. I mean,
Right.
acquiring CJ McCollum, you think him teaming up with your other to be superstar Dwayne Wade, or excuse me,
Zion,
Zion
Brandon
Williamson.
Ingram.
You think that they'd be able to come together and make something work, but from the sounds of it, it doesn't sound like Zion's even reached out and said what's up to CJ yet
Yeah.
and welcome him to the team. So between with that drama and JJ Redick coming out and saying this stuff, it's kind of it's very concerning, I'd say, for the Pelicans organization. But I guess we'll just have to see where that goes. And the Pelicans again, they gave up a first and 2 second rounders in this trade, along with Akil Alexander Walker, who was another first round pick along with Zion
Yeah.
2 years ago. So there were some valuable assets given up, I think, by the Pelicans as well. But um, I still like Larry Nance Jr., Tony
Mm-hmm.
Snell. I mean, he can go out there and give you a couple solid minutes of defense. But
Mm-hmm.
so I'd say the Pelicans won this short term, but again, it's really going to depend on what happens if they have to restructure the rest of their roster with Zion.
Yeah, they're trying to make some win now moves, but how can you win now when Zion doesn't, if he's not on the court and he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't seem invested on the outside, not reaching out like you're the franchise player? You could have just said, hey, what up? Welcome to, NOLA, so I don't know.
Yep.
And he's kind of too young to be like obviously they gotta learn how to be professionals, but he's kind of too young. Like you don't really hear whispers with young players right away. But you heard it with Zion, like, oh, the family don't want him in NOLA, and so that's like, I, I feel for him, because they had Anthony Davis, they had Chris Paul, and it's just I don't
Yeah,
know. I'm
just
sorry, Pelicans.
they got the revolving door down there. They come in and go out, and I guess that's just how it's been. I've also heard that the Pelicans sent out emails regarding their 22-23 season ticket holder packages and mentioned names like CJ McCollum and other players in there, but had no mention of Zion. So it's maybe deeper than we already think.
Yeah, maybe they're already, calling some teams. Hey, you want Zion?
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
me neither. We seem to be left with the questions about his injury too, and when he's going to be back, or if he's going to be back, or so
Yeah,
that's always kind of just been up in the air, and we don't really know.
and people are like, can he control his weight? Because he has a Pacific body type. Well, man, I hope things work out. Because I want, like, all the stars to be separated. Not separated, like, you can have, like, duos, but, like, I feel like every franchise should have that superstar player. But
I
what can
agree.
you what can you do? Another, trade that we're gonna discuss is the Utah Jazz requiring Alexander Walker and the Spurs. Let me see. Joe Yoancho Herman Gomez.
Wanderman Gomez.
You can do it better than me. The Spurs getting, Thomas Skaransky, second round pick. The Blazers getting Joe Ingles, Elijah Hughes, a second round draft pick. Um, who do you think, is winning these? A lot of second round draft picks being dealt. Who do you think won that 3 deal trade? That's a tough one.
This one's tough. Um,
Tuffy,
I
Tuffy.
understand why the Jazz did it. Joe Ingles being injured the rest of the season. They want to make a push here the second half. So bringing
Hmm.
in Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who was just dealt from the Pelicans to the Blazers, and then
Yeah,
Juancho, or then Hernan Gomez as well. So you get two players who could potentially get a couple minutes for you. While giving up 2 second-round picks, one to the Spurs, one to the Blazers. So I would say that the Jazz probably won this one. Blazers did get Joe Ingles. I'm not sure the type of contract he's on, if he's going to be there next year for them or anything like that. So I'd say the Jazz probably took this one. Spurs ended up with a pick in Thomas Saransky. Um, but yeah, only name in there that I think has much is Nickeil Alexander Walker. So I'll give it to the Jazz.
yeah, I think Alexander Walker, he's a good young talent. It adds more depth to them. And with Ingles, tearing his knee, they probably said maybe we can get something for him.
Mm-hmm.
I did like him, with them. Good size, 6'8", can shoot it, good tough defender. But if he's not going to be there and they're trying to get a championship, I understand the move. So I do agree that they won.
Yep, exactly. I saw he posted something pretty humble message out to the Jazz too, basically saying, "Hey, I understand what you guys are doing. Good for you, and like, thanks for having me a part of your organization." So he left respectfully and on good terms. So we'll see what
Yeah,
happens. I mean, if the Blazers are going to clear house, there's a good chance he could end up back there.
for sure. I think, you never know. He could take, veteran minimum and rejoin
Mm-hmm.
the Jazz. If he gets healthy. So who knows? Um, he is actually, I looked it up, he's a free agent. So
Okay.
that's probably another reason why they did it too.
Yep. So Blazers again, just moving players to get that cap space.
Oh, yeah.
The offseason, they're going to have 60 million in salary, along with a $21 million trade exception they created as well. So it's opening up space for them. So they're seems like they're doing it all for Dame, which I think is the right choice.
Yeah, hopefully they can get some free agents to want to come and join Dame. Dame is a very likable player,
Hmm.
so maybe he'll be good at recruiting some. You know, you can't lose out on hope. Can't lose out on hope that he stays. The Kings. This is actually Bucks related too, so let's talk about it. The Kings acquire Dante DiVincenzo, the big ragu. I'm gonna miss you. Jackson and Lyles. The Pistons acquire Marvin Bagley. There was some drama with the Kings there. The Clippers acquire Hood and Ojale. They weren't really doing much for the Bucks. The Bucks acquire Serge Ibaka. Hopefully he can have a resurgence. Get it? I was saying that. Oh, and two second round draft picks with some cash. Um, who do you think won those trades? Or did they all win? You never know.
Yeah, I think there's multiple winners in this one. Um, I don't think that the Clippers gave up Serge Ibaka um, in exchange for Rodney Hood and Semi Ojeleye, which I'm fine with the Bucks getting rid of. We haven't seen much production out of either of them this season. And those were the
Mhm.
two names we brought in the offseason, and we're hoping that they'd be able to contribute, give us good minutes, and make a difference. But so I'm glad that we were able to get move them so quickly. So bringing in Surge, I think, is going to be a big help down low. We've seen a lot of issues. Um, Sad that we're going to see Moose leave. However, I was glad to see Greg Monroe back under the bucket for us, but looks like that 10 days is going to come and go. And then I guess we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that Brooke comes back in the off season. Um, and then, yeah, sad to see Dante go. However, um, he got traded to the Kings for the second time now. So sorry about that. I don't know if Veronica listens, but I know that she's sad about this. So
It was meant to be.
yeah, wasn't meant to be, I guess, or it was meant for him to be in Sacramento.
Yeah.
But I also think the Kings gave up a pretty valuable asset in Bagley, though. I do like the Pistons, what they did. They did give up two second rounders, which typically tend to be high second round picks due to where they fall in the standings,
Mhm.
along with Josh Jackson and Trey Lyles. But I think Bagley is going to get some good minutes there. Hopefully, him and Cunningham can put it together and
Yeah.
maybe do something in the future here. But immediate, I think I like what the Kings did. They only gave up a second round pick in Vanja Marinkovic to bring in Dante, a player that they must have their eyes on for the past 12 months here now. And also Bucks, I think Dante was kind of a do we wait now? Do we get rid of him now, or do we wait and do a sign and trade at the off season? The way he came back from injury hasn't been spectacular.
Yeah.
So his value at the end of the season, who knows what that's going to be, um, and if that ankle is going to hold up as well. We don't want him to get hurt and then his value completely drops. So it's sad to see him go, but I think we brought in something that we can use for our immediate championship repeat run here.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is right after we traded Dante, Pat gets hurt. So I was like, oh boy. But I think all of the teams won, for different reasons,
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bucks, obviously I'm biased, getting Serge Ibaka. I think if he can start making threes, he's gonna help, and he's, what we really need is Brooke Lopez to be healthy. But in case he's not, Serge is good insurance. And, the Kings get a young player in Bagley who, you can't give up on him. He's still pretty young, really young, to grow with that core, you know.
Yep.
And the Kings, they gave up Tyrese Halliburton. But, they gained Dante, who plays, similar, they got similar size. So
Yep.
I think they all won.
Hmm.
Okay, let's talk about a big giant trade that everyone was talking about. Everyone was talking about it. I was mad, but what can I do? It's more competition, but who Okay, let's talk about it. The Nets get Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and two first round draft picks, while the 76ers acquire Paul Millsap and James Harden. James Harden wanted out of Brooklyn. And it's almost like he used Brooklyn to get to the 76ers. Because, the Houston Rockets didn't really want to deal with Murray, Dale Murray. Um, so let's talk about that big trade because everyone's talking about it. Like, oh, the Nets won, with all they got, Curry shooting. They got Ben Simmons, a good guard, and Kyrie might get to play full games now. They got big men, Drummond, but Harden and, Embiid could be a, lethal duo. Who do you think won?
This one I'm still up in the air about. It's tough to say. I mean, I want to say that the Nets one, just adding that extra depth. Um, Sounds like they're going to get another player in the buyout with Dragic here as well. So,
Oh,
I mean, that that 15-man squad's looking tough right now, all the way through and through. So, I'd have to say the Nets. Giving up James Harden obviously is going to hurt them with scoring. You're going to be asking a lot from Kevin Durant and the next 25 games of the regular season. Um, Kyrie Irving, we still don't know if he's going to be able to play at home. So I think going into the playoffs and with the Nets in the 8 seed, they're already asking a lot of Kevin Durant as far as scoring goes. You're bringing in Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond. Get some valuable minutes, I think, out of Seth Curry, excuse me. Some good scoring from him. Ben Simmons, I don't know if he's going to be there on the offensive end. And after what we saw last year in the playoffs and what led to him basically holding out on his contract, I don't know if we can really rely on him to put the ball in the hoop. Um, Adding him defensively is going to be an improvement, however, over Harden. And Andre Drummond is one of those veteran minimum type players, going to get maybe a couple minutes here and there. Um, him with LaMarcus Aldridge, I mean, same type of thing they'll be doing, just getting a couple minutes and get back to the bench. The two first round picks the Sixers gave up, I also thought was pretty significant.
oh
Um,
yeah.
so overall, though, I think I'd have to give it to the Nets, just adding all that depth, and they're going to be dangerous come playoff time, assuming Simmons can get everything figured out and Kyrie can play at home. So it's
Oh,
just a lot of question marks on that side, as well as with Harden and Embiid if that's going to work out. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like the Nets won by a landslide with everything they got with Harden. But if, you got one person wanting to leave and then you got another person to leave, swapping them makes sense. And obviously, you think that they could just do Harden and Simmons, but
yep.
Harden is on a whole nother level than Simmons, so they added more and with all that depth. And I really like Seth Curry, so I'm actually jealous, because I want to root for Curry, but now well, he was on the 76ers and now he's on the Nets. I can't root for him, and I really like him. I would love for him to be a Buck, honestly, I would. And
Put him
then
back in Dallas or somewhere where we can root for him again.
yeah,
Keep him out of
exactly,
our
in the
conference.
West. Yeah, in the West. And so I think the Nets won. I think the 76ers, even though they got Harden, and I feel like that's going to be a lethal duo, I don't really see depth wise. They lost depth, and I can only, on the top of my head, I can only think of 6 players that are going to play big minutes in the playoffs. So I think they need to add some more depth that they lost,
Hmm.
in my opinion.
Yeah, and I agree with you as well. I mean, if they could have made Harden for Simmons just work out, I mean, I think it would have been a pretty fair trade given if Simmons was on the court. But it's hard to say the
Mm-hmm.
Sixers lost at the same time too. I mean, they're doing
Exactly.
so well. We have Joel Embiid pushing for an MVP
Mm-hmm.
caliber season here. If they want to make a move for the immediate future, I mean, if they're giving up only Simmons for James Harden, it's kind of tough because you're only giving up a player who's not doing anything for a player who's, I mean, a
Mm-hmm.
top 20 player in the league. So
Exactly.
I get why they had to throw in the extra stuff, but I think that asking price was pretty high by the Nets, and that they made out like a
Really
bandit.
big.
Hmm.
Two first round draft picks. Wow.
Yeah.
And you also got to think about Andre Drummond. Like, is he the same player that he was when he was with the Pistons? Obviously not, but he's still like his ceiling is still huge. Like when you think about it, so even he is a big deal. And I think that's gonna help with their lack of size. Let's talk about some other trades. This was not exactly at the deadline, but it was earlier, a couple weeks earlier, um, when the Knicks got Cam Reddish, and going to the next hill and a second round pick. The Hawks got a first round pick with Kevin Knox. Who do you think won that trade?
Um, I definitely thought the Knicks did. I thought getting Cam Reddish was going to be a good addition. Um, but it sounds like they don't want to give him minutes there, and he's just been benched ever since. So I've been very surprised by that. I'm questioning. It sounds like the coach has an issue with him, but the GM really wanted him. So
Right.
I'm confused by that. I mean, the Knicks only gave up Kevin Knox and a first round pick, but it's protected as well. So I mean, there's a chance that they could have kept that if they ended up falling into the lottery there. So um, again, tough to say, but I thought the Knicks won it. But if you're just getting a player to bury on your bench, it's hard for me to say that you really won anything.
Yeah, I feel like Cam Reddish has a high ceiling, but your GM and your coach got to be on the same. They got to be on the same wavelength. And obviously they aren't. I feel like he could help them, but I don't know what's going on with the Knicks. Bing bong, I don't know. Um, I don't know, man. But um, I hope Kevin Knox can find his footings somewhere in the league. Let's talk about this next trade, which was a little bit of a shocker to me. Kristaps Porzingis, went to the Wizards, and the Mavs got Spencer Dinwiddie, and let me pronounce this right, hopefully, Davis Bertans,
Bertan.
sharpshooter.
Yep, you got it.
What do you think about that?
So this one was surprising to me, um, given the culture from overseas with Luca and Kristaps Porzingis. I kind of and Mark Cuban. I mean, with all the players he's brought in over the years, I kind of thought that that was going to be a good fit and something we'd see for years to come here. Um, but yeah, he got dealt for Spencer Dinwiddie and spent Davis Bertans. So I'm shocked by that. Um, One of my buddies asked me, oh, like said, oh, how come the Bucks can't do something like this? And I looked, Kristaps Porzingis is making $31 million next season.
Yikes.
So it's a big money mover. At the same
Hmm.
time, Mavericks are bringing in Spencer Dinwiddie, um, so he must have some value under his contract as well to even out that trade. But um, yeah, I don't think I'd bring in a Porzingis for that much money. So it's tough to say as well. But that was a 5 year deal he signed, so that's
Yeah.
he'll be on that for a little bit yet.
I think the Mavs tried their best getting Porzingis. That was a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
But availability is the best ability, they say. And he's just been injured and it's like, with with Luka, you want to win now. So, and if he has trouble staying on the court, we might as well try something different, I guess. But yeah, I wasn't expecting it.
Hmm.
But Dinwiddie, you know, I think it can help bring Luka off the ball. But Jalen Brunson is playing well too. So I'm
Yeah.
not sure how that goes. Bertans, he could spread the floor, obviously. So I think the Mavs won, creating cap space. But if you know Porzingis can stay healthy, which I don't know, I don't know, it's tough. The Wizards can win, so that's a tough thing.
Yeah, I did hear. It sounds like the Mavericks are making a push at Brunson in the offseason to keep him around too. So they were able to move some cap space around with that. Sounds like make him an offer. So we'll see once that time comes. But
Oh, that's cool. I like Brunson. He can start. He can come off your bench.
mm-hmm.
Play on and off the ball.
Yep, Swiss Army knife.
Oh yeah. So next, we're gonna talk about how the Washington Wizards, traded Harold, to the Hornets, and the Holiday went to the Suns for some cash. Washington got Carney and Ish Smith, and the Wizards got a second round pick. Who do you think won that trade?
I think the Hornets did. They're playing pretty well already this year. Kerry Jr. and Ish Smith, I I don't think are super valuable assets to them. But bringing in Montrezl Harrell, he'll be able to put an immediate, make an immediate impact on that team. We've seen what he's done as a role player on many teams now, and so I think he'll fit in good with the Hornets, especially with them just losing Gordon Hayward, I believe, for the season.
Oh
I don't know if it
man.
was for the season. Don't quote me on the season, but I know he just got injured. So bringing in Harrell will be a good replacement for the time being.
Yeah, I think they added, some good depth. They have PJ Washington, but I think, yeah, he's another player that has a lot of experience. Harold can come off the bench, start. I think that was good. A trade that I kind of feel like maybe is a bit under the radar. I like that the Celtics got Derek White from the Spurs. The Spurs received Jason Richardson. No, not Jason Richardson. Jason Richardson. He's retired. Slam dunker. Richardson from the Celtics and Romeo Langford, and a 2022 top four protected first round draft pick. Who do you think won that? Celtics made a lot of moves.
Oh, this one again is tough to me. I'd like to say, see, with the Spurs getting that pick, I think that's a good
Yeah,
deal. Um,
that's a big deal.
yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Spurs on this one because
Whoa, okay.
yeah, I mean Derek White's a
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just don't get too much from Derek White on the offensive end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Obviously, he's a high flyer and his dunks and everything like that are nice, but and he'll lock up on defense. But is he worth a first round pick to me? Even is kind of what my
Yeah, that
question
is
is.
tough. That's tough. That's tough.
So I mean, if you swapped out that second for a first, I'd say the Celtics. But just due to it being a first round, it's only top four protected. So Celtics find their way out of the playoffs here. That could be a lottery pick that they're giving up for Derek White. So I think the Spurs may have won here.
Yeah, I agree. And they know how to draft. No matter where they are, they got Dejounte Murray. I think he the last first round draft when they drafted him. I think he he was really low, and I thought he was gonna go high. And
Mm-hmm.
he's a triple double machine. They knew how to draft, so I agree. But I do like Derek White. I think he's an upgrade from Dennis Schroeder. But the Celtics did some more things. They actually waived PJ Dozier, but they did get him. Bobo, they waived him as well. The Celtics traded Dennis Schroeder for Daniel Dice, and so he's back with the Celtics, you know. Freedom, his new name is Freedom in the scanner, Freedom. You know, he got waived. Bruno Fernando is headed to Houston too. So the Celtics made some moves, you know. Houston made some moves. Who you got?
Um,
Or this is just like a trade that you don't really care for. It's like meh.
yeah, this one's a toss-up. I mean, the Celtics have a pretty decent duo, I guess you could say, in the backcourt with Tatum and Jaylen Brown as it is. Bringing in Tice as a big man. They've had him before. I'm sure he's familiar with the offense and defense, so he's already familiar with what they're doing. So if they're going to make a push here at the end of the season, and with the Rockets, the uncertainty, and I mean, without John Wall, bringing in Dennis Schroeder to go with the young rookie backcourt, possibly teach him a couple things. But yeah, I'd say this one, not too many significance to it.
Right. We're gonna talk about the Raptors and the Spurs. The Raptors got Thaddeus Young. I like his veteran leadership. You know, Goran Dragic, as we know, is now a net, but big man Drew Eubanks. I'm just gonna say Eubanks. And the Pistons 2022 second round draft pick are headed to Toronto as well. The Raptors sending San Antonio 2020 first round draft pick, top 14 protected. Gotta have that protection. Who do you think won that?
So, well, the two main names in this, Thaddeus Young and Goran Dragic, were two names that we heard rumored before the trade deadline. Even good chance of both of them entering the buyout market. So to see both teams deal them was kind of a surprise. Obviously, Dragic did hit that buyout market and is making his way over to Brooklyn. But um, yeah, I mean the Raptors got Thaddeus Young. He could be potentially give them some minutes. They have kind of a crowded front court, um, but I don't know. I kind of like the move for them. I was kind of hoping that Thad would hit the buyout market and Bucks would make a push at him. It seems like we've said this a couple times throughout the past couple of years that he would be a good addition to our team, give us some height down low. So I mean, I'm gonna have to give it. Oh, I kind of missed that the Spurs got a first round with that as well. So it was a first round in Dragic for Thaddeus Young.
Oh man, let me see.
Yeah, maybe confirm that one for me. But if that's the case, if the Spurs were going to buy out Thaddeus Young and they got a first rounder for it, it's not a bad deal.
Hmm. Oh yeah, they are. They're stacking up picks. They're stacking up picks, man. They
They
are.
they sure are. They're going for Bronny 2024, 23.
LeBron James and Bronny. We're gonna start talking about All Star Weekend now. We're gonna switch things up. Let me switch this. Switch this. Start screen sharing. No, I'll just cancel that. Okay, whatever. All Star Weekend. I heard from a little birdie that you were in Cleveland for All Star Weekend. Tell us, a little bit or a lot about the weekend.
Yeah. So I recently moved out to Columbus, Ohio, actually just about a week and a half ago. So still getting used to it around here, but obviously All Star Game was in Cleveland. It's a quick 2.5 hour ride from here, so me and my girlfriend decided to make the drive, head over there, and check it out. So we ended up going all day on Saturday. So we didn't go to any of the events on Friday or Sunday. Just made it a whole day trip on Saturday. So that started out with the All Star practice. That was around 11 a.m. Eastern time. That was pretty neat. Both they did a little introduction of each team. Each player would come out, do their little, hey, what's up? And then they kind of just did like layup lines, shooting around. Players were joking around, and they did some kind of like interviews and interactive games with the players, which was neat. For example, they had DeJounte Murray and Bill Walton. They were asking them questions about, so they'd ask DeJounte Murray, like they'd show a picture of like a fax machine or something and say, hey, like, what is this? And he'd have to say what it was. And then they do the same thing for like a new thing. Like for Bill Walton, they showed a Dogecoin. And they're like, what is this? And he looks at it, he's like, it's a cat. and everyone's laughing. He goes, it's a cat that says wow. So it was funny. It was fun. It was entertaining to see. So it was Team Durant. Yeah, Team Durant came out first. So him with his team, and they did the whole shoot around. After their like 45-minute allotted time period, all the players, they just had a bunch of balls, and all the players shot half quarters for a minute and a half. It was kind of a competition between the two teams to see who would make the most. So then after that, Team LeBron came out, did the same kind of thing, but it was cool to see. Tickets for that were only $25 a piece. So you got to see a lot of families there and kids there who may not be able to afford to see the rest of the weekend or go to the games or be up even at 8 p.m. to see the dunk contest as it is. So it was really family oriented, and it was a good time though. It was interesting to see. I'm not sure. I thought I saw that they haven't done that before in the past, or at least had it open to the public. So yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, man, I would love for Milwaukee, Wisconsin to have, All-Star Weekend so I can just experience that. That would be so amazing. I know you had a blast.
Yeah. So hopefully in a couple of years they'll get it. But then after that, I mean, they had different events around the city. We went to it was called the Public Auditorium. It was the NBA cross. It was called the NBA crossover experience or something like that. You could get tickets for $30. They had different booths set up, like Oculus, the headset thing, and you could do like
Oh, wow.
interactive things. They had the Larry O'Brien trophy there. So you could take a picture. They had this nice big black backdrop with like newspaper articles from all of like past finals, and there was a nice leather chair there and the Larry O'Brien. So
Oh,
that
wow.
was neat, and there were players in there as well, as far as just giving um, just appearances and giving like um, speeches or interviews and stuff. They had a little basketball court in there that you could shoot at, like a half court, and Wally Zerbiak was out there helping kids with their shots and talking to the crowd. Um, they had Cole Anthony and
Wow.
um, Channing Frye. They both were up on stage talking about top shots.
Oh,
I'm not too familiar with what those are exactly, but um,
those, are they NFTs or something?
there's something along that line. I think they're the same kind of things, but I
Yeah.
don't 100% understand it yet.
I'm
And
not
then,
really into it either.
yeah, and then they had Dominique Wilkins was in there signing autographs, so that was cool as well. But then you could also purchase like a premiere pass to see. It was called like the NBA Legends Pass. I didn't do this. It was like $175 a person or
Oh, boy.
whatever. Um, but then you got to go see. I think it was Dominique Wilkins and Jerry West, Clyde Drexler. Um, Wish I could remember some of the other names, but there were a couple other big names, and I'm pretty sure you got like autograph appearance and stuff like that with them as well. So it may have been worth it, but for the day, I mean, with what they had in there already, it was more than enough. So
Hmm.
that was like our second stop of the day, and then and then finally, I mean, 8 o'clock, we made our way over to the field house for the skills challenge, 3-point contest, and dunk contest, which I mean, that was awesome. Just being able to see all that. I mean, I remember every year since like I was 6 years old, just being so excited for this weekend to see the crazy dunks and see who can hit the most threes, and
Mhm.
just brings back a lot of memories. So it was fun to see in real life, and I'm sure we'll touch on everything in a little bit, but yeah, it was awesome. And then to bring out that concert too, the concert with DJ Khaled and
Oh
Lil
yeah.
Wayne,
Yeah,
Luda,
they're
Lil
good.
Baby, Migos, Mary J. Blige.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, they went off. Gunna, can't forget him. So they went off, and that was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah. That it was actually a good halftime performance. And Mary J. Blige, Lil Wayne, that was good. Some songs off his latest album, DJ Khaled. Dun
Yep.
dun dun dun. Yeah. I don't really listen to Gunna. I don't even know what he was saying. Pushing the P or something. I don't know.
It was hard to tell. DJ Khaled was just screaming over him. So
Oh wow. So we're gonna talk about All Star Weekend, the winners. We're gonna talk about what you liked about it. The system, what you think should change. So let's talk about the Rising Stars. It was. I actually liked the whole Legends coaching. Rick Barry was a coach, Isaiah Thomas, Gary Payton, James Worthy. It was 7 players, rookies, sophomores, G League, Ignite players. My dog wants a lot of attention right now, but don't mind him. Um, Cade Cunningham won the MVP. You know, they had, games of 50, but then the last one was 25. Did you like the whole system that they did?
yeah, I really like the format. I thought it was good to bring in. I mean, if there's only two teams, you throw 12, 15 players on the team, you only get so many minutes of them. With having the four teams, you get up to 50 points. You're able to see the players rotate in and out, so that was interesting to see, especially with the Ignite players getting a chance for us to see some of their young talent as well. Um, Gives us a little insight on what we could see to the draft coming up, and so that was
Hmm.
interesting. Yeah, but overall format was I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I liked it. So you wouldn't change anything about it?
The only thing I would have put the finals game to 50 as well rather than 25. Um, or even maybe did it the other way where the first two games were 25 points apiece and then the finals was 50.
Right.
That's maybe the only change I would make to it.
Yeah, they wanted it to be like 75 for the anniversary, so I understand. I think the games should not end with a free throw though. I don't like that, but it was cool. Team Barry won. Shout out to Rick Barry. And it actually helps you learn, know a little bit about the legends. So old school, new school. So I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, the celebrity game, some people don't really watch it. But Miles Garnett threw down some dunks. I saw Tiffany Haddish out there. Um, Machine Gun Kelly, he's from Ohio. He was in there. But people don't really talk about the Celebrity All Star Game. It's like you're basically watching people that, like if you like at the YMCA,
I
something like
agree.
that.
I wasn't too appalled by it. Yeah, I don't have much to say on that one. I think my favorite part was Bill Walton being the coach.
Oh yeah, I love listening to Bill Walton. He's so funny. He's
Yeah,
crazy. He's funny.
he is funny.
Um, did you like the clutch challenge that they had the different shots on the floor?
Yeah, with the yeah, I did like that. I thought it was something fun just to kind of throw in there, give some of these guys a chance to be seen, especially the Ignite team with Michael Foster and Fanbo Zhang. Michael Foster Jr. Shout out Milwaukee native coming in. So we'll see where he ends up landing in the draft, and then obviously seeing Scotty Barnes and Tyrese Maxey. Missed
Oh
that
wow,
point blank shot 6 times in a
that
row.
was terrible.
That was a good laugh. So we get to see Shaq in a fool on that. And then yeah, I mean Tyrese Halliburton, another Wisconsin name that love to see him succeed, and him and
Hmm.
Desmond Bain pretty handedly were able to put that away. So good for them.
Yeah, and they get it's a little like the old school, new school thing. Like the shots, you know, from history. People can research it from Magic Johnson's baby hook. Charles Barkley, Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, Dame. You can research those shots and recreate them sometimes.
Yeah.
The you know for the youth. Um, Carl Anthony Towns won the 3-point contest. That was pretty exciting.
Yep.
Um, and everyone that competed was gonna be a new, winner. So that was dope. Did you like that?
Yeah, that was exciting. I think there were a lot of notable names in there that people
Hmm.
would like to see in there. I mean, with Luke Kennard, Van Vliet, McCollum, Desmond Bain, Patty Mills, Trey Young, Zach Levine. So I think everyone very well deserved to be in there. I know a lot of Bucks fans were bummed that we didn't get Bobby Potus in there. Um,
Bobby, Bobby, Bobby.
we could have heard, yeah, we could have heard the whole arena with chanting that one, but yeah, I'm glad to see Cat win. Obviously, he's gone through a lot the past year with
Mhm.
losing his mother to
Right.
COVID, and it was cool to see they allowed him to wear that necklace that was
Oh, that
hers.
was cool.
So yeah, typically you're not allowed to wear jewelry, and NBA
Mhm.
made an exception for him to wear that. So
Right.
good for him. I think Patty Mills and Trey Young were the favorites going into it. So
Right.
Cat trying to make a name for the big man, and he did so.
Yeah. He said he's one of the best big men shooting. So he proved it.
Sure
Um,
did.
let's talk about the dunk contest. Um, it was lame to me. It was really, really lame. I I hope they change it. This is what I hope they can do. Oh wow, 6. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, the memes were out. The memes were out. They said it was a 6. I would have gave it lower than that. Maybe a 4
Yeah.
because first of all they had 3 attempts, right? I think they should maybe have 2 attempts. Cause you like make the dunk. Come on now. We don't want to see misses. We don't want to see that. And obviously a lot of the superstars don't want to dunk. But I think it's mostly like a lack of creativity and a lack of showmanship. Like after they dunked, they weren't really thrilled with the dunk, so the crowd wasn't thrilled. So they weren't really hype about it, and I don't know. I think there was past. Obviously, no one can top Zach Levine and Eric Gordon what they did, but at least come up with something different. We had Dwight Howard do a Superman thing. We had Nate Robinson entertain us. Gerald Green with the cupcake. Blake with the car and the choir. Like it, I don't know. Like I feel like the NBA should ask players and maybe give like the winner of $1 million or something, or bring in pro dunkers. There's like pro dunkers that do it for a living. Maybe have them compete against some NBA players or something. What would you change?
I feel like the NBA has been trying to change it year after year.
Mm-hmm.
And post all years, I still think the '98 dunk contest was the best with Vince Carter, Steve Francis, Tracy McGrady.
Oh wow,
So that
yes.
was my favorite. But we've seen them try different things over the years. I mean, that one year they did the spin wheel where you spin it and it would land on like a random dunk that you'd have to reenact. But I see the difficulty in that. I mean, you try to make Cole Anthony jump from the free throw line, or you have someone the size of Dwight Howard jumping from the free throw line. It's kind of tough to where you land is really going to depend on a lot of factors. Um, I do like the idea of less dunk attempts. So maybe 2 misses and you can jump only 5 times or something.
Mhm.
Because I mean it was getting to a point of ridiculous. I mean, Giannis could have shot a free throw in the time that they finally put it in.
Oh wow! Oh man, you went after him. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah, I was
something's gotta change.
yeah,
Something.
something's got to change. I mean, it would be cool to put a dollar amount on it so people can take home a good prize, or I don't know, but they got to do something because this year everyone was sleeping on it, and I don't know if it can be any worse.
I wish Ja would compete, but I don't think he will. I think they asked Anthony Edwards. I think he said he's just an in-game dunker. Zion's not really healthy. They could get Miles Bridges in there. There's some, I don't know what can you do to entice the players. I don't know. Let's go to the skills challenge. They added a lot of things, a windmill, moving passing targets, different obstacle courses. Huh.
Oh, there we go.
Okay,
I just saw
record.
I just saw it go away, so I think we're back now.
We are back. So, in case you missed it from the delay, the skills challenge, moving targets, the different obstacle course, the windmills, the shooting spots. Did you like it or was it kind of confusing?
I liked it. I think the players were more confused than I was. I mean, they showed the obstacle course up on this big screen, and I saw what they needed to do, but it seemed like some of the players were missing that little dribble between the
Oh yeah.
obstacles. But it was good to see. I like how they basically broke it out into a shooting, a passing, the half court shot, and then the whole relay. Um, and then with the moving obstacles, I thought that was neat. Typically, I mean, past years we just saw the stand with the circle in it; they'd pass it through. But with it moving back and forth on that belt, I
Yeah.
thought that was neat to see, and the windmill as well, with kind of obstructing your view while you're shooting rather than just
Mhm.
having an open corner three. So I like the changes that they made to that. I think the skills challenge was better than it maybe ever had been, just
Mhm.
due to the new format. And obviously seeing the Antetokounmpos out there and Cleveland team and Team Rookie, it was everything was a little theme, so it was fun to see that as well.
Yeah, Cleveland won, so I'm happy for them. I was rooting for the Antetokounmpos, the Antetokounmpos. I was rooting for them to show because a lot of people are like, oh no, they can just dunk. They're just athletic. I wanted to show, they had skills. I don't think they performed that well, but what can you do? Giannis seemed a little mad. Like he's competitive. They
Did
were they were all trying to win. They were all hustling, but
yeah,
wasn't.
I heard there was some confusion too about the
Yeah.
that shot for the tiebreaker where
Mhm.
so that they would have had Alex shoot it instead of Thanasis.
Yeah.
I thought Thanasis would have been the third on my list. So I was
Exactly.
shocked
I
when
was like, why is the NASA shooting? And
I thought that Cleveland got to choose who shot for the Bucks and that the Bucks got to choose who shot for Cleveland. So when I saw Thanasis go out there, I was like, oh, okay, we're going to choose Jared Allen to shoot their three then. And then
mhm.
I think it was Darius Garland go out there and he just knocked it down. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
so.
They were hot.
Mm,
Evan Mobley. He came out. You know. I think he's going to be the best player in the draft. In this draft, I really like him. Um. But yeah, the Greek freaks, they were kind of confused. Even the judges were kind of confused. Are all three gonna shoot or what? Just one? But I think next year it'll be more clear. But
yeah.
yeah, I really liked what they did to spice things up. Now they just need to spice up the slam dunk. I think maybe even add something like a 2-on-2 or a 3-on-3. That'd be dope. Or 101, something to spice things up. I don't know where you would add it though. What do you think? What
Yeah.
change would you
I,
make?
I think a lot of players tend to hold out on some of these events just due to the risk of injury.
Right,
Having
right,
it be three
yeah.
quarters of the way through the season as well. A lot of these players, it's their time to rest up and really make that push towards the end, towards the playoffs here. So I think something like a mini tournament, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, maybe wouldn't get so much um,
Right.
attention from, I guess, those players who actually do serve significant minutes for their teams. Maybe incorporate that with the G League and put a G League game
Oh,
on
right.
our
I
weekend.
really like that. Yeah.
Um, I know this year they put the historic Black Colleges game
Oh, yeah.
in between on Saturday. So maybe if they did something like that on either Friday or Sunday prior to the All Star game, it'd be another
Yeah.
little something they could add in there. Um, but yeah,
I know they did horse a couple years back too. Maybe they can add that back in,
or a game of lightning or something like that.
Yeah. So I want to thank you for coming on my I Be Ballin show, Zach Attack. Thank you for coming.
No
Make sure you
problem.
subscribe to my channel. I need all the subscribers I can get. Tell your basketball friends, your hoop friends, all about my channel, and like, comment, subscribe, share. Thank you for coming, talking to about the trade deadlines, all the big trades, and the All-Star weekend. I'm glad you had fun. Can't wait for Wisconsin to get one. And thank you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I got two more things quick. So
Okay.
one probably the highlight of my All Star weekend. After
Oh,
the dunk contest, we were just walking out into the main concourse, heading back to our car, or whatever. And all of a sudden, I see some people taking pictures with this tall dude, and I'm like, "Who is that?" So I'm like, and I get closer, I look, and it was Sean Kemp. So
oh,
I happened to take 40 basketball cards with me, just of random players, mostly Hall of Famers, and I'm like, oh, there's a good chance that they'll be there, especially with the 75th anniversary thing going on. So I went up to him, I had his card and Sharpie, and I was just like, hey, Mr. Kemp, could you sign this? And he took it and just pointed. And he was like, here, follow me. I'm on my way out, and he signed it quick, and so that
wow.
was a pretty cool win.
That was dope.
Yep.
And you came in right. Everything, you got the cards right and handy.
Yep. It was exciting. So that was probably my highlight. So didn't
Wow.
I almost forgot to mention that before.
Oh, you can't forget that. Can't forget Sean Kemp. All his dunks. I hope Seattle can get a new team.
Yep.
Supersonics go.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Come back anytime. Talk about hoops anytime.
Will do. Let me know.
Thank you, man. You were a great guest.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you. Stop recording. Hmm. Did it stop? Let me see. Sometimes it's kind of slow. Are you still there?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, let me see. Sometimes it's kind of, let me see. You are currently in a meeting. Tap to return it. Sometimes it's a little slow. I used to do Zoom, but